know Peter Dow and other Kenyans have played in the Egyptian league. Remember Peter Dow played with George Weah in Egypt. If you don't know the history of soccer, you should Google. Dow was one of the best ever Kenyan export. And they played with George Weah in the same team. George Weah went ahead to become one of the greatest ever footballer to grace the Italian league. Q1 and Q2 to join Uganda in their group are going to come from either Egypt, Algeria, South Africa, Sierra Leone, or Comoros. Where do you think Uganda is going to qualify from the group stage? Hey, my guess is as good as yours. Regardless of whether Kenya or Uganda qualifies for the next round, all the 4 games they're going to play, it's going to be high voltage, appealing games that will generate a lot of revenue for the federation, will build the interest that has been lost through the years. Because who wouldn't want to see Kenya play Angola? Who wouldn't want to see Kenya play Morocco? Who wouldn't want to see Kenya play Zambia, the Chipolopolo? Who wouldn't want to see Kenya play the Democratic Republic of Congo? Sports mtaani tunawasuka maneno michezo from the eye of the people. Henry back at it again with another video. Jana we had a very good one. We're talking about why the CHAN African Cup of Nations was postponed to August. Today we want to venture and look at the groupings. We all know that the groupings were done on Wednesday in Nairobi, and it's significant to understand why that had to happen. Nairobi had to host the grouping stage, because when you look at the regulations of tournament organization, according to the Confederation of African Football, the host nation is the one that is privileged to host that event, and this one happened in Nairobi. For those who don't remember or don't know, it's because in 2023 Kenya made a bid to host this tournament, and they incorporated the neighbors Tanzania and Uganda. That's the reason. So the idea originated from Kenya, and they co-opted her sister nations, Uganda, Tanzania, to join in the bid, which they did. And based on that, CAF awarded the Pamoja bid to East Africa as a way of trying to grow the sports within the continent. So that is significant. Just like in the US, the World Cup in 2027 is going to be hosted by the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. So in that co-joint bid, the groupings is to be done in the United States, and the US is going to host the final game. So today we want to talk about the group stage. People say that Kenya is in the group of death. I want to lay it out there and make you understand why this is so. And is it true that Kenya is in a group of death? Or Uganda and Senegal? Or maybe Tanzania? Why people say Tanzania has an easy ride to the quarterfinals when it comes based on the grouping. And this is just analysis based on facts on the ground. We are talking about real facts and no speculation. So how do you analyze, or how do you know that a team is in a group of death? And in this scenario, we're going to base this on the strength of the leagues within these nations that are participating in the tournament, and previous performance by these countries in this competition. Remember, CHAN has been in existence since 2008. This is going to be the 8th edition. So in the 7th editions, the current champion is Senegal. Morocco has won this tournament twice. We know that in 2018 and in 2016. Previous to that, DRC won, and in the first edition, Democratic Congo won the tournament. So based on that, that is one fact that people are alluding to why Kenya is in a group of death. Because in Group A, which Kenya is placed, they're placed with Morocco, Democratic Republic of Congo, Angola, and Zambia. So when you look at the rankings based on previous performance, there are two nations in that group who have had the most successful performance in this tournament when you look at the previous editions, and that is Democratic Republic of Congo and Morocco. So Zambia too and Angola are big teams. They are frequent performers, participants, and they qualify in almost all editions of the CHAN. And the performance when it comes to this tournament, they always get to the quarterfinals. So that's why they mention like Kenya is in that group of 5. But I also want you to look at the league performance. When you look at Africa as a continent, which nation do you think has the best league? From South, look at the East, Central Africa, look at the North and West. Which league or which leagues do you believe are the best leagues in Africa? So CAF has a ranking to place teams based on their performance in the tournaments that CAF hosts. So there are two major tournaments that are CAF tournaments. That's the Champions League and the Confederation Cup. So these leagues would enable CAF to know, according to the performance of individual teams through the years, which league is strong. And remember, the consistency enables you to understand how a league performs. You cannot say your league is big, yet you don't qualify when it comes to where the big boys play. So based on that, these are the facts. The most successful league in Africa at the moment, and this is based on a 5 years analysis of data, or the most successful association in terms of performance is Egypt. We all know how Egyptian club Al Ahly, Zamalek performs when it comes to the Confederation Cup or the Champions League. We all know how Esperance from Tunisia, USM Algiers, we all know how those teams are dedicated. So the most successful league in Africa, as we speak right now, is the Egyptian Premier League. The second most successful league in Africa is the Moroccan League. Wakenya wanajua hii, wamejaribu na Gor Mahia huko ikafeli. So Morocco comes second when it comes to league strength and performance. The third most and successful strength, like if you ask, hey, which team is successful? Talk about North African Pips, the Berkanis. So the third is Algeria. Sorry, US Algiers is from Algeria. So the third most successful league is Algeria. Then the fourth is, we know Sundowns, we know Orlando Pirates, we know how Mamelodi are shaking the continent when it comes to continental matches. So the fourth is the South African League. The fifth, you can guess, and your guess is as good as mine, goes back to North Africa. Tunisia has the fourth best league in Africa. The fifth best league Yeah, that's Tunisia. It's the fifth best league. I say that, Tunisia. The sixth, wow, this one is gonna shock you. Itakupiga sana. Ligi namba 6 bora sana Afrika ni ligi ya Tanzania. Ya, tunajua vizuri Simba Yanga. Ya, hizo miaka 5 zimepita hajacheka na hizo timu za Afrika. Yeah, and remember, Yanga got to the finals, yeah, of the Champions League probably 2 years ago. Yeah, and that was a big one. And they've consistently, Simba and Yanga, interchanged when it comes to playing at the group stages of the two most important tournaments in Africa. So those are two contributing factors. So Tanzania, East Africa, wako number 6. Then makaka zetu from DRC, wow, vijana wa Ndombolo, hey, ajaachwa nyuma. So DRC is number 7. Man, kudos to East Africa. There are 2 teams that are in the pecking orders when it comes to ranking of big performers or big leagues in Africa. Angola comes number 8 in that list. So Angola is number 8, Sudan is number 9, then number 10 is Libya. So when you look at previous performance and when you look at the league strength, of course Zambia is number 15 in this order in terms of league strength. And remember, if you come from East Africa, you know Zambia has accommodated a lot of foreign-based players, just like the Tanzanian league. Zambia, so many Kenyans or Kenya soccer professionals have played in Angola. Kenyan professionals have played in Zambia. A few Kenyan professionals have played in the DRC. But we know Peter Dow and other Kenyans have played in the Egyptian league. Remember, Peter Dow played with George Weah in Egypt. If you don't know the history of soccer, you should Google. Dow was one of the best ever Kenyan export. And they played with George Weah in the same team. George Weah went ahead to become one of the greatest ever footballer to grace the Italian league. Based on this, when you compare the groupings, you'll find that Kenya and the teams that are in Group A are amongst the top 15 best playing leagues in Africa. Because Kenya is not ranked because the last time, it's been a while, and these rankings are based on 5 years interval. So within the 5 years, Kenya has not have a big showing in the international scene when it comes to club performance. And there are so many factors that has contributed to this. The ban, the mismanagement of football and all that. So I'm not saying that the best leagues will contribute to the winning team in this tournament. No, what I'm saying, I'm using facts to try and analyze so that you can understand why they say Kenya and, for me, possibly Uganda are in the group of. It's debatable between Kenya and Uganda which team is in the group of death, because according to the analysis, Uganda might also be the group of death, because remember, Uganda is in a group with Niger, Guinea, Q1 and Q2. Niger, Guinea, Q1 and Q2. Q1 and Q2 are yet to be decided. They are teams that, because of various factors, they are not committed to send their representation in the tournament. But because the tournament has been pushed forward to August, definitely those teams are gonna send their representatives. And CAF has said there's gonna be a qualifier that includes South Africa, the 4th ranked league, Egypt, the 1st ranked league, Algeria, the second-ranked league, Comoros and Sierra Leone. So out of those leagues, the Q1 and Q2 to join Uganda in their group are going to come from either Egypt, Algeria, South Africa, Sierra Leone, or Comoros. Where do you think Uganda is going to qualify from the group stage? Hey, my guess is as good as yours. Because on the strength of leagues, we know South African league. Most players are local. We know the Egyptian league. 90% of those players are local that represent, or 80% that plays for the Egyptian national team. We know Algeria. Wow. Comoros has surprises nations in the last 5 years. We don't know whether that strength that Comoros displays when he plays in international qualifiers would be replicated, because very little we know about the Comoros League. But be assured, Guinea and Niger, they come as 13 and 24th in when you look at the rankings. But be assured, the qualifiers, the Q1 and Q2 teams are going to be a team from either South Africa, a team from Algeria, or a team from Comoros, and those, or Egypt, and those are big shot teams. So Uganda and Kenya are based in groups that they need to have a good outing for them to qualify for the next round. For a long time, Kenya has never had a big continental match for the fans to witness the potential that the game offer. I'm so happy for me in terms of revenue, in terms of marketing the continent or East Africa, in terms of appreciation of the beauty of the game. These two countries, Uganda and Kenya, will witness, and especially Kenya, because all the teams that they're grouped with are big games that I believe the stadiums are going to be jam-packed. And that is the beauty of it. Regardless of whether Kenya or Uganda qualifies for the next round, all the 4 games they're going to play, it's going to be high voltage, appealing games that will generate a lot of revenue for the federation, will build the interest that has been lost through the years. Because who wouldn't want to see Kenya play Angola? Who wouldn't want to see Kenya play Morocco? Who wouldn't want to see Kenya play Zambia, the Chipolopolo? Who wouldn't want to see Kenya play the Democratic Republic of Congo? Wow, these are big games, and this is an opportunity for East Africa to market itself. Once again, let me give accolades to the Democratic Republic of Congo and Tanzania for aiding the growth of soccer in East Africa. This is Henry, and I'm out. See you on the next one.